To get started, why are you deciding to run for Congress?
Yeah, I think it's time that we get Montanans back together, focusing on coming back together as a state, as a people, and having some policy that actually helps everyday Montanans. So,
what kind of policy are you talking about?
Yeah, so my whole campaign is based around 5 pillars. So the first is affordability. I think that's a conversation that comes up a lot, is how do we make Montana affordable, not just for the ultra wealthy, but for everyday people that have everyday jobs, and keep it that way so that our kids can stay here as well. The second is public health. That's been a big topic of conversation. That's the reason our federal government shut down right now, but also what is this going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years to be able to make it to where people like you and I can afford health care, and it's not as much as our mortgage or half of our paycheck. The third is youth development. I spent the last 10 years running a child care company. We had 42 locations and took care of about 9,000 kids. And so I think education starts from a very early age on, and Montana's a child care desert. So how do we help get parents back to work by making sure their kids have a safe place to go from early on? And then also that cascades into the education as well. The fourth is stewardship. That's been a big conversation as well. How do we protect what brings most people to Montana, which is our amazing public lands and outdoor spaces? And then the fifth is campaign finance, and really financial reform in general. Why are we spending our money the way we are, and where are we spending it, and does it make sense to continue doing it that way? So.
Okay, I heard you mention education. What would you do for rural areas that are pretty short-handed here in Montana?
Yeah, I live in one of those rural areas. I mean, we haven't had a math teacher in 2 years in our high school. And so I think, if we want teachers to be able to move to rural areas, they have to be able to afford it, which means we need to focus on things like teachers' wages, which comes with funding to our education system. I also have some ideas that would change the format of how our education system works. Right now, students complete certain coursework their junior and senior year of high school, and then they go to college oftentimes and repeat some of those same courses their freshman and sophomore year, and end up taking on student debt to do that. That should be a pipeline where we're helping students get that education, but also get the college credit that's associated with that as well. And if they don't want to go to college, we also need really strong tradesmen and women. So getting them the opportunity to go a different direction and choose a trade as well, which is really needed here in Montana.
So I saw you're an independent. What does that look like?
Yeah, I've been independent most like many Montanans, most of my life. I'm a left-leaning independent on some of the social issues. I'm kind of a live and let live type mentality, but I'm fiscally responsible. I think we need to rein in our national debt and some of our expenditures. And so what that looks like is that spectrum to me has been shifting further right. And so even lifelong conservatives are feeling like they're more in the middle now. And for me, I'm a little bit further left than that, but all that means is I think we need to invest in things like education and healthcare, because we're the richest country in the world, and we need to take care of our people first, and then we can focus on helping some of those other countries.
So what's your relationship to former President Cleveland? Did that at all inspire your run, or is...
It's always kind of been in the back of my head. We've always, had kind of an inter-family joke about, Uncle Grover or Cousin Grover. But really it goes back about 8 or 9 generations, and you can see it on my website, but we have a common grandfather, so we're really distant cousins. But the thing I like most about his story is that in the late 1800s, it was him that was running when the Republican Party at that time had an immense amount of corruption, and there was a group called the Mugwumps that separated from the party at that time to break off from the corporate corruption that was happening in politics. So he was the first Democratic president elected post-Civil War. And if you took away the dates and the names, it's very similar to what we're seeing now. Is we have some high-end corporate players that are really calling the shots, and everyday common people here in Montana just have to deal with whatever the consequences are of those shots being called. And so I find it unique that we're running in parallels like that and just happen to be related as well. But other than that, yeah, it's just a family connection. So.
Okay, and the question you've been wanting me to ask, what would you do different than Representative Ryan Zinke if you were to be elected?
Yeah, the biggest thing is show up. I think even as a constituent of his myself, I think it's important to remember that we are a public servant, and our number one job should be showing up and giving time and energy to the people that elected us, not necessarily lobbyists or special interest groups or PACs that paid our way to get there. I'm not taking corporate PAC money. I'm not taking any dark money from special interest groups. And so my entire campaign is based around being loyal to and giving time to the people that vote me in, which is the people here in Montana. And I think what that does is it says, hey, no matter what the legislation is, I don't care if it's brought by Republicans or Democrats, if it's not good for Montana, it's not good for me. And so that's where we'll stay focused.
So you're committing right now to not take any big donations?
Well, not big donations. I mean, there are some really great PACs out there as well, but the corporate PAC money and the super PACs are often funded by what we call dark money, which means like a C4 took money from somebody and then they donate to a super PAC, but they don't have to tell where that money came from. And to me, that eliminates the transparency that Montanans want to see. We want to know who's donating to the campaigns and funding our candidates. And so I'm committing not to do that. And so it makes it harder. We're a grassroots campaign. We got to raise money the old-fashioned way, which means out pounding the pavement and talking to people. But I think that's where you stay in touch with the people of Montana and really can focus on Montana values. So a lot more windshield time, a lot more phone time, but we're doing great work out there, work that I can be proud of. So.
If you could leave everyone with one message, like what you stand for with this campaign, what would it be?
Yeah, my entire slogan is "Together we can," and you'll see a blank after that. I really feel that no matter what the problem is, if we take away, the partisanship, if we take away the slander and we just focus on solving it together, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, we can actually find a solution that is really best for everybody and not just one side or the other. We're in this environment where we're really trying to be torn apart by people that oftentimes haven't even set foot in this state. And so I think it's time that we realize that, hey, we're neighbors, we're in the same community together. Let's try and solve and tackle these problems together instead of relying on the word or propaganda from someone else to tell us how to believe or how we should fix the problem. We got smart minds right here in the state of Montana that can figure it out. We just have to lean on each other and stop pointing fingers, start solving some problems.
What would be your stance on wildfire policy?
I mean, wildfires are getting worse and worse every year. I think we need the support to continue to fight our wildfires both locally and with personnel coming in from out of state, depending on the severity of that wildfire. But depending on the element of the wildfire policy, I mean, I grew up in a time where come August, it was smoky every summer, and oftentimes even playing football or whatever else, it'd be tough to practice outside because there's so much smoke in the air. We got to get a handle on that, and that comes with managing the forest responsibly. That comes with funding our Forest Service and making sure that we have the men and women out there fighting the fire that can get a hold of it quickly. And that I think that also comes with relying on partners, whether it's aircraft or what have you, that are here and ready to put them out quickly so it doesn't turn into a major issue.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think I encourage Montanans just to take a step back. For so long, we've been encouraged to vote party lines, whether it's down the line on the D or down the line on the R, and we're better than that. I think we just have to take a look and say, hey, who's here doing the work and who's going to represent Montana for what we really are. I'm a middle-of-the-road guy, and I grew up here. I'm a small business owner, a veteran, a father to 7, and it's important to me that we instill some family values, some Montana values back in our legislation, and that's what I'm ready to do here for Montana. So,
great, thank you.
Yeah.